All right, gear up, because we're diving into the world of Formula One where lightning-fast reflexes meet outrageous luck. Ever wondered if these drivers are just superhuman, or if there's a little more to the story? Well, buckle up, because today, we're cracking open the vault of F1's luckiest moments. These are the races that had us glued to the edge of our seats, where a twist of fate changed everything in the blink of an eye. So, grab a drink, get comfy, and let's reminisce about some seriously unbelievable moments. First up, we have the 1994 Australian Grand Prix. This race, folks, was the stuff of legends, and it's still debated today. Championship contenders Michael Schumacher and Damon Hill were neck and neck all season, and this final race was winner takes all. Imagine the pressure. So there they are, battling it out when suddenly, bam! Schumacher clips the wall and everyone thinks it's over for him. But then, in a move that still has people scratching their heads, he somehow manages to get his car back on track. Except Hill is right behind him. Now, things get messy. Hill tries to make a pass, but Schumacher makes a controversial move, and there's a collision. Both cars are out. Schumacher walks away with the championship by a single point. Was it a racing incident, or was it something more?
It's a bit of an empty feeling, but I think I gave him a good run for his money.
You be the judge. Okay, let's move on to a lighter moment, but still one that involved a whole lot of luck for Michael Schumacher. This time, it's the 1998 British Grand Prix. Schumacher was cruising towards victory, rain hammering down on the track, the spray making it look like a scene from a sci-fi movie. Just when it seems like his lead is about to vanish, a message flashes on his pit board. Apparently, he got a penalty for an earlier move. Here's the thing, the penalty wasn't clear. Should he serve a time penalty or a stop-and-go penalty? The confusion was real. Schumacher's team, those clever foxes, saw their chance. They pit him right as he crosses the finish line, basically making him serve his penalty during the next lap. The stewards, well, they weren't quite sure what to do with this one. It was such a creative move, and in the end, Schumacher got away with it. This race win is a prime example of how even in a sport like F1, where everything is planned down to the millimeter, a little bit of luck and quick thinking can turn the tables completely. Imagine the pit crew scrambling through the team radio. Schumacher in. Let's get him through here before anyone notices. And Schumacher himself weaving through the pit lane, heart pounding, wondering if this daring gamble would pay off. It's these moments of split-second decisions and fortunate circumstances that make F1 so dramatic. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about qualifying. Qualifying is all about precision, about shaving off those milliseconds to secure the best starting position. But sometimes, even the best drivers get a surprise. Take the 1997 European Grand Prix qualifying session. This was qualifying on steroids. Three legendary drivers, Jacques Villeneuve, Heinz-Harald Frentzen, all teammates at Williams, and Michael Schumacher, their main championship rival, all came in with the exact same lap time, down to the millisecond. Can you believe it? The odds of that happening must be astronomical. The crowd went wild. The commentators were speechless. In the end, who got pole position? Well, it all came down to who finished their lap first, and that was Villeneuve. Talk about a lucky break. Imagine the tension in the team garages as these drivers crossed the finish line. Who crossed first, second, third? Then the times flash up on the board and everyone does a double take. Triple identical times. Yeah, mind-blowing is definitely the right word. Here you have these elite drivers pushing their cars to the absolute limit, and they all somehow managed to produce the exact same time. It's a testament to their skill, of course, but also a crazy twist of fate. Imagine the tension in the team garages as these drivers cross the finish line. Who crossed first, second, third? Then the times flash up on the board, and everyone does a double take. Triple identical times. It must have been a roller coaster of emotions, disbelief, maybe a little frustration for the guys who didn't get pole, but definitely a shared sense of awe at what they'd just accomplished. Fast forward to 2008, and the Brazilian Grand Prix throws a whole new kind of drama into the mix. The championship fight is a nail-biter. Lewis Hamilton, a young gun hungry for his first title, goes head-to-head with Felipe Massa. The tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Hamilton needs at least 5th place to secure the championship. The race starts under clear skies. Perfect conditions for a showdown between the two contenders. But then, on a dime, drama strikes. The heavens open up, unleashing a torrential downpour that turns the track into a skating rink. Massa streaks into the lead on slick tires, looking unstoppable towards his dream championship. Hamilton, meanwhile, is struggling on slick tires. his title hopes seemingly slipping away with every passing lap. You could see the frustration building in the cockpit, the weight of those championship dreams pressing down on him. But with just a few laps to go, fate takes a wild turn. This is where things get interesting. Remember Toyota's Timo Glock? The guy running just ahead of Hamilton in 5th place, the crucial position Hamilton needed. He throws a Hail Mary and decides to gamble by staying out on track instead of pitting for wet tires. It's a risky move, a high-stakes gamble, and it backfires spectacularly. Glock loses control on the final corner, and Hamilton, with nerves of steel, seizes his opportunity, darting past him to snatch that crucial 5th place. The crowd erupts. The roar is deafening. Hamilton goes from despair to elation in the blink of an eye. This race is a prime example of how even the smallest stroke of luck, a twist of the weather, or a gutsy call by another driver can completely change the course of a championship. Imagine the heartbreak for Massa, who thought he had it all wrapped up, celebrating with his team only to see it vanish in the final moments. And for Hamilton, the relief must have been overwhelming, like winning the lottery at the last second. Let's end on a slightly more controversial note with the 2008 Singapore Grand Prix. This was the inaugural night race in F1 history, and let me tell you, it was a race for the history books. Our boy, Fernando Alonso, starts way down in 15th place. Not exactly the position you want to be in when you're aiming for the checkered flag, but Alonso, ever the opportunist, decides to gamble on an early pit stop. A gutsy move, considering most drivers would wait a bit longer to stretch their fuel. Then, things get really interesting. His teammate crashes, bringing out the safety car. Now, for most drivers, this would be a disaster. They'd be stuck behind the safety car, losing valuable time. But for Alonso, it's a golden opportunity, a stroke of luck he couldn't have planned better. His rivals are forced to pit under the safety car, shuffling him right up into the lead. He ends up winning the race, but that's not even the craziest part. Months later, it comes out that the crash was staged, a deliberate attempt by Renault to give Alonso an advantage. Talk about a scandal. This race win is a reminder that sometimes luck isn't always pretty. It can come with a side of controversy, but hey, that's just part of the drama that makes F1 so darn exciting, right? F1 isn't just about flawless driving and perfectly strategized pit stops. It's about these unexpected moments, these twists of fate that can make or break a driver's championship dreams. It's about the human element, the split-second decisions, and the sheer audacity of these drivers who push themselves and their machines to the absolute limit. So the next time you watch an F1 race, keep an eye out for those lucky moments. They're the ones that make the sport truly unforgettable. And let's not forget the impact these moments have on the fans. These lucky breaks, these underdog victories, and those dramatic controversies, they're the stuff that gets our hearts racing and keeps us glued to our screens. Imagine watching a driver like Hamilton, a young guy with his whole career ahead of him, snatch victory from the jaws of defeat in the Brazilian rain. The emotions are raw, the joy is contagious, and it creates these incredible shared experiences for fans all over the world. We erupt in cheers, we groan in disappointment, and we dissect every detail with our friends long after the checkered flag falls. These lucky moments become part of F1 folklore, stories that get passed down from generation to generation. Just think about the Schumacher-Hill collision in 1994. People are still debating that one today. It sparks conversation, it keeps the sport interesting, and it reminds us that even in a world of precision engineering and split-second calculations, there's always room for a little bit of magic. So, the next time you hear about a crazy twist of fate in an F1 race, don't dismiss it as luck. Embrace it, because it's those unexpected moments that make Formula One one of the most thrilling and unpredictable sports on the planet. And hey, if you have any favorite lucky moments from F1 history, leave a comment down below. Let's reminisce together and share the stories that make this sport so darn special. Until next time, keep it speedy!